The sun hung low over Joplin, Missouri, bathing the languid town in hues of melancholy amber. Sprawling across the worn-out desk in the dim, dusty office was a patchwork quilt of age-yellowed papers and faded photographs that seemed to rustle with quiet unease. The tapestry of this unsettling mystery was threaded together by the methodical hands of Roy Connolly, a detective who bore the worn appearance of a man who'd wrestled too often with the spectral arms of tragedy. His silver-streaked hair was a messy tapestry of time, and his eyes, the color of weathered cobblestone, held the faded echoes of childish laughter long silenced. Each crease etched onto his leathery face was a bookmark to a chapter of loss. Yet beneath the veneer of his hardened exterior pulsed a heart soldered together by a stubborn sense of duty, the metronome of his resolve echoing an unspoken promise to repay an irrevocable debt. Roy's hands, calloused by time and toil, moved slowly over the tableau of the case, picking up a grainy photograph of the Blackwood family crypt. A chill seeped into his fingers, an icy tingle that crawled under his skin. This wasn't just a case, it was a gnarled knot woven with the fibers of the unexplained, a knot that tightened in the pit of his stomach. He turned to the weary-faced man sitting across his desk, Sheriff Baxter, a man who'd seen Joplin through its seasons of joy and despair, his face furrowed like an old tree bark. 6 disappearances, all traced back to this crypt. It ain't right, Roy, Baxter said, his voice as gravelly as the town's untarred roads. Folks are scared, starting to talk about cursed land and such. Roy's gaze lingered on the photograph, the crypt looking more like a looming, ancient predator than a resting place for the dead. Haunted by its own past, he muttered. The mystery isn't just within the stone walls of the crypt, Baxter. It's in the very soil of this town. As the chapter closed, he found himself standing before the crypt under the ghostly moonlight, its shadow stretching out like a silent scream upon the ground. The wind, a playful minstrel, seemed to hum a lullaby from a time wrapped in the gossamer threads of his memory. The lullaby carried a hint of a message, an inaudible whisper that soaked into the depths of his soul, filling him with an odd sense of foreboding. A singular crow cawed in the distance, its sound echoing the silent dread that clung to the crypt. The melody of the past, the rhythm of the present, and the harmony of the unknown all seemed to converge at this point. And so, with the crypt acting as the solemn custodian of untold secrets, Roy took his first step into the labyrinth of his investigation, on a path that promised to lead into the heart of darkness. As he descended into the crypt's shadowed maw, the everyday world of Joplin was swallowed by an abyss of ancient stone and stale air. Each step resonated with a hollow finality, the echo a grim reminder of the crypt's many buried truths. Cold dread crawled over him like tendrils of an unseen specter, whispering the stories of those who'd vanished within these walls. On the walls of the crypt, shrouded in the gloom, he discovered markings, strange and sinewy, like forgotten letters of an arcane alphabet. His fingertips traced the chilling contours, his mind tangling with each cryptic symbol that seemed to pulsate beneath his touch. Their ancient language whispered untold horrors, singing of epochs long past and of entities that slumbered in the dark corners of the cosmos. He was not alone in the crypt. The hushed whispers of the wind found their way into the recesses of the labyrinthine tomb, winding through the silent corridors like an ethereal mourner. The earlier lullaby had grown, a dirge now, sung in a voice that resonated with spectral dread. A chilling voice interrupted his thoughts. Detective Connolly? It was Sarah Blackwood, the last scion of the doomed family, her once vibrant eyes now a haunted blue, etched with the grief of her ancestors. Miss Blackwood? Roy acknowledged, his voice a quiet echo in the crypt. What brings you here? Old ties, detective, she replied, her gaze lost in the crypt's unfathomable depths. And a need to understand. Their conversation unfolded like a waltz of words. Sarah divulged tales of her forefathers, dark legends whispered within the Blackwood household, of a pact made, a curse invited, and a spiraling descent into oblivion. Roy absorbed her words, each sentence a piece of the sinister puzzle he'd found himself entwined in. The gravity of her revelations weighed on him, yet his resolve hardened. He could feel the subtle shifts in the air, an ancient evil stirring in response to the awakening of old tales. As the whispers of the tomb grew louder, their shared understanding turned their alliance into a pact, an agreement to venture deeper into the heart of the mystery, pulling at the frayed edges of their comprehension. With the secrets shared and a path chosen, he was standing at the precipice of a dark descent. The crypt, now a tomb of revelations, beckoned him further into its stone-carved womb. Each whispered secret, each spectral echo served to pull him deeper into the maze of the Blackwood curse. The cosmic dread loomed vast and inscrutable, waiting patiently in the nebulous future. The crypt's cold walls seemed to pulse in time with his beating heart, the rhythm of the impending horror. The entrails of the crypt unfolded before Roy like the unfurling narrative of a grim tale, the sordid details of the Blackwood lineage etched into its very bones. Time waned within the crypt, shedding layers of reality until it was a mere specter, a phantasmal mist that danced with the crypt's shadowy inhabitants. In a hidden alcove, a mural lay unveiled, a ghastly tableau depicting grotesque rituals, unhallowed sacrifices, and the monstrous outline of a cosmic being whose form assaulted human comprehension. It was an entity birthed from the churning chaos at the dawn of creation, a reality-disrupting aberration lurking beyond the veil of time and space, an ancient evil that resonated with a primal fear, the fear of the unknown. The curse of the Blackwoods. Sarah's voice was a distant echo, her eyes reflecting the mural's monstrous revelation. Our pact with the entity, our hubris, it's all led to this. The curse was no mere tale. It was an immortal affliction feeding off their lineage, a parasitic horror that promised the inevitable annihilation of their name. As the truth dawned, a reality far more terrifying than any mortal could fathom, the crypt seemed to tighten around them, the chilling breath of the ancient entity sweeping across their skin. Roy's personal demons reared their grotesque heads. The entity seemed to feed off his deepest fears, amplifying the haunting echo of his siblings' laughter that morphed into screams in the back of his mind. The taunting lullaby weaved into his consciousness, becoming a dissonant symphony of dread. "Detective, we cannot run from this," Sarah implored, her voice trembling, but her eyes resolute. "We must confront it, push it back into the oblivion from which it came." Her words hung heavy in the crypt, echoing off the ancient stones, a beacon of desperate hope in their dark descent. Roy nodded, his resolve tempered by the chilling revelation. Yet his debt to the world, his unspoken promise, steeled his spirit. His once serene world had twisted into a nightmarish landscape of cosmic horror. The labyrinthine crypt seemed to close in around them, a suffocating embrace promising a chilling culmination to their exploration. The terror was no longer an external force. It was inside him, woven into the tapestry of his being, feeding off his fear. Yet, in the heart of the chilling darkness, the light of resolve flickered, pushing him deeper into the abyss of the impending climax. A grim acceptance etched itself onto Roy's hardened features as he delved deeper into the heart of the crypt, where the air was thick with the menace of the unspeakable entity. His world had shrunk to this timeless tomb, every echo a relentless reminder of his mortality, his insignificance in the grand cosmic horror. Sarah, the weight of her lineage crushing her slender shoulders, walked beside him, a tragic figure bound by ancient curses and timeless dread. Their footfalls marked the solemn rhythm of their journey, a march towards a horrifying confrontation with an adversary beyond human understanding. "I see it now, Sarah," he confessed, his voice hushed yet steady. "The cosmic horror isn't the entity itself, but our struggle against it. We are the mote of dust spiraling in its indifferent storm." "Then we spiral bravely, detective," Sarah replied, her voice echoing with the echoes of 1,000 doomed Blackwoods. The labyrinth wound itself tighter around them, leading them to a colossal chamber, a monstrous heart pulsing with a timeless evil. The entity's grotesque form shifted within the crypt's heart, a horror that transcended physical bounds and seeped into their very consciousness. Roy could feel the eldritch being in his mind, drawing on his fears, feasting on the residual guilt of his siblings' loss, and his futile struggle to repay an unpayable debt. But within this despair, he found a spark of defiance. His existence might be a mere speck in the cosmic scale, but it was a spark that refused to be extinguished. "Sarah, we confront it together," he said, reaching for her hand. His words echoed within the crypt, spiraling to challenge the indifferent cosmos above. The final confrontation was not a physical conflict, but a battle of wills. Roy confronted the ancient entity, the embodiment of his deepest fears, shouting his defiance into the cavernous void. His voice wavered, but he kept going, resonating with an echo of bravery that pierced the malignant silence. Sarah echoed his defiance, their shared strength a beacon amidst the abyssal dread. The entity retaliated, the crypt shuddering as its rage echoed throughout the ancient stone. Roy felt the universe tilt, the world unraveling under the entity's wrath. Yet he held his ground, fighting until his last breath. His demise was inevitable, a haunting echo of the cosmic horror's unending might. His final moments were filled with the entity's triumphant roars, a grotesque melody marking his end. Yet even as he fell, his spirit remained unbroken, his bravery a monument within the cavernous crypt. In the aftermath, the crypt was silent once more, its hunger satiated. The cosmic entity retreated, leaving the crypt as a tomb for Roy's valiant struggle, a shrine to human courage in the face of cosmic dread. His life was a mere blink in the ageless eyes of the entity, but his defiance, his unyielding spirit, left an echo that would forever reverberate in the heart of the crypt. His story ended as a testament to human bravery amidst the cosmic horror, a beacon for others who dared to confront the unfathomable dread. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed our content, show your support with a like and subscribe, and stay notified by hitting the bell icon. Expect more cosmic horror from Eldritch Tales Factory, and feel free to explore our other stories. See you in the next video.